In this video, I'm going to be going over 10 secret features in Kittl that you should know about and use. And I mean, they're kind of secret, they're kind of not. They may just be new to you. For others, they may just be in a place that you're not so familiar with. And so I'm going to go over everything you need to know so that you can utilize these 10 super powerful features. First of which is a brand new feature called the rounding corners feature. And so here in Kittl, if you didn't know, now you can select one of our objects, one of our shapes, and you're going to notice these little circles in the corners here where you're going to see radius, okay? So you're going to see these little dots in the corners. If I grab one and I pull it in, I can now round the corners of this object, which otherwise had sharp corners. And when I let it go, you can see the radius number there, 119. Now you can see over here in the right panel, 119, and I can adjust this at will. Let's say I wanted it to be 150 instead. Now I can also adjust each corner by going into the corner radius setting. So if I click this setting right here, now I can adjust these individuals. So for some reason, maybe I want this one to actually be nothing. Well, now you've seen that this is now sharp again. Now it's completely straight. Maybe I want this one to also be 0, and I want to create some sort of shape similar to this one right here, but I just want these to be sharp and I want these to be round. Now, another thing I could do if I wanted to just independently select one of these is I can hold the Alt or the Option key and I can click in and just adjust this one radius. You might see that it has a blue dot in the middle of it, meaning I'm only adjusting this one corner, and that is when I'm holding the Alt or Option key. Alternatively, I can double click. There you can see that blue there that pops up, and when I double click and hold, I'm just adjusting this one corner. Now I do have to double click and hold, so it is a little bit easier to hold the Alt or Option key, and you can see that blue is still there, and I can now adjust it. Now adjusting all of them independently, but now I'm trying to adjust them all together, you can see they're all formulating together based on where I left them all off, meaning I adjusted the right two, I adjusted the top left one, I adjusted the bottom one. Now I'm adjusting them all together and they're all reacting based on their positions. And so you see they're being pulled inward towards each other based on the positions that they are. And if I were to just take them all the way back up to the side, now that they're all sharp. Now this applies to multiple kinds of shapes. You can see here this has 2 points that can then be made straight into basically made into a rectangle. You can see there are 2 points right there, and if you pull them together it becomes this semicircle shape. And we also alternatively have these shapes right here that you can mess with, and so you can really just pick and choose what kind of shape and experiment to get what's right. You also have outside points and inside points on shapes like stars, meaning if I want to adjust the inside here, you can see these outside radiuses being moved outward, and you can see the corner that is going to be adjusted when you hover right over this. You see this little area turn blue when I hover, just like you see this area turn blue when I hover over this. Remember, if I want to adjust this one point, I can hold the Alt or Option key, click this one, and drag this one in to make some really wonky, interesting shapes. Or if I want to just adjust this point, I can hold Alt or Option key and drag, and I can make these all sharp, for example, if I want to. I can move these all in one at a time to make them all sharp. And now that that's like this, maybe I do want to adjust these to be a little bit more round or a little bit more straight, or maybe I want to make an interesting shape. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is that this is going to work for any shape where there are straight points connecting each other, right? So you can see here, all 3 of these corners have nodes that you can adjust, just like here, all of these points have nodes that you can adjust. Now, for shapes right now that are more complex and have rounded shapes, you can see with this selected that you only have 2 points that you can adjust on the bottom left and the bottom right. That is because this is a curved path. So there are multiple points along this that make this a curved path, and so we are still working on how to make that function for you. So in the meantime, you are able to adjust corners that connect to straight edges, meaning this is a corner and this is a corner that adjusts a more complex path, as it were. So just keep that in mind when you are going through and adjusting your shapes or selecting one. If you're ever wondering why there aren't these little circles that you can adjust, it is because most likely it is a curved or complex shape. All right, the second feature I have for you is the layers expansion hidden feature. Now, again, it may be hidden to you. It may just be that you didn't know you can do this, but let's say you have a project just like this where you have so many boards, okay? You just have so many project pieces in here, so you therefore have so many layers, right? You're gonna have layers for each individual board. You're gonna have layers for each individual piece of text, each individual image, everything. And so over here in the layers panel, if I open this up, you can see that it starts at this small size over here in the corner. But what you might not know is that I can actually hover my mouse over the top of it, and you can see this little up and down arrow. And if I click and drag, I can actually expand this layers panel. Look how much more area I have for my layers panel now. And so if I want to, I can open up multiple of these artboards and work on them at once. I can even find areas within an artboard. You see I clicked this think outside the lines on front cover page. Over here it actually opened that for me. Alternatively, maybe we go down here to end cover and I click on this image. Well, then now it is going to show me the image that is highlighted when I am clicking on it over here in end cover. So you can see I have this selected, and over here you can see that it is highlighted with a very light teal if you want. So this will work, by the way, with this layers panel up in the top right, meaning you can adjust all of your text. You can see all your text settings still, and you can adjust these accordingly. So maybe I want these both to be about halfway, so I can still see a fair amount of my layers panel and I can still see my text. Now, of course, if you're just wanting to find a layer and you found it, most likely you just want to exit out of that and then retain the entire panel for your text. But again, if you ever do need to work on your layers, maybe you're going to work on renaming them, you can still grab it and click upwards. Now, again, just so we're all clear on how that works, what you're going to do is you're going to open your layers panel and you're going to take your mouse and you're going to hover up until you see this little up and down arrow. When you see that, you need to click with your mouse and pull it up. And when you pull it up, you can see the other panel getting smaller and your layers panel getting bigger. And that is the second feature I have for you on this list of 10 secret features. All right, the third secret feature I have in Kittl for you is the copy and paste feature. Now, I don't mean copy and pasting from within a project like you can see right here. I am trying to come up with a cool poster design. Now, obviously, I can select that text, right, and I can hit Command-C, Command-V, and now I have a copy of this text. Alternatively, I can click this artboard, Command-C, Command-V, boom, it makes a duplicate of this artboard. That is not what I'm talking about. You can actually copy and paste from other browsers, which makes inspiration so much easier. So for example, let's go to Pinterest, find a cool poster design, and then copy and paste it into Kittl so that we can use it as a reference. All right, so I'm over here in Pinterest, and I was actually looking at some trendy minimal poster designs earlier to help kind of make a video for you all. And so what I'm gonna do is just find one that I think really sticks out. For some reason, I think the layout of this one in particular is really, really cool and therefore makes a lot of sense because we have an amazing account here with a ton of followers. Now, I don't want to copy this exact poster one for one, but what I may want to do is actually use this as inspiration. So what I can do is I can actually right click. I'm going to hit copy image, not copy image address, not save image. I'm just going to hit copy image. And then let's go back to Kittl. Now that we're back in Kittl, I can actually hit Command or Control V because I've copied that. And look, there is our reference now that just populated into Kittl as an image. And now let's do this once or twice more. Maybe let's find one more reference. I also really like this one right here with lots of type in the background and like a big element over top. So maybe we can use that as some inspiration. And so now we're back in Kittl. I'm going to hit Command or Control V, same way I did with the other one. And look at that. Now the object, the image, the whatever is now in place. And so I can use this as a really cool way to collect information. Maybe I can mood board. Obviously, I could save pins to my board in Pinterest. But if I'm actively designing, I don't want to have to keep flipping back and forth between Pinterest and Kittl, Pinterest and Kittl, whereas I could just have them all in one place to easily look to my left. I can see my references. You know, obviously, if you have dual monitors, It's fine. You could have Pinterest open and you can have Kittl open. However, I like having them all on the project to easily recall right here. So therefore, your third very cool secret hidden feature for Kittl is the copy and paste from multiple browsers feature. All right, our fourth hidden feature in Kittl is actually called the Kittl Co Pilot. Now, you may have already experimented with this already, or you may not even know it exists, or maybe you've been afraid to touch this little icon that is the Kittl Co Pilot. So let me show it to you on a couple of different levels. So when you select an image, for example, maybe I can just select this image here that looks to be a person that is walking in water. And if I were to go up here into the three dots right here, I can actually launch the Kittl Co Pilot. By the way, is Command K. Now we have a shortcut for it. And if I launch the Kittl Co Pilot, this little AI bot is basically going to open up and it is going to tell you and help you through your process. Now, currently it says select only one object to continue. So that means we currently have two objects. So if I double click into this, it looks like we have an image within a mask. But now that I've clicked into it, you can see there's a lot of different options that now come up in the Copilot. So it's telling me we have some suggested assets. I could go over to elements and it may suggest some elements that are similar to me. So you can see through using AI, it's already picked up that this is a surfing-esque image and it is giving me surfing-esque vector elements. So for example, if I really wanted to replace it with this one right here, I could hit replace and then look at that, it replaces it with a different element. So it completely released and changed that image to something else. Now, what I'm going to do is currently release the mask here, and I'm just going to delete the mask to continue to show you some different capabilities of the Copilot. So what I could do is go back over to photos now, and what it's going to do is, because I'm using a vector element, now it's suggesting potential real life photos that would have to do with surfing. So you have all of these really, really cool features and different elements and different images that you can choose from in the Copilot. So maybe we like this one, for example. I can hit replace, and so I will replace that vector element with this image right here. And then maybe you say it's a little bit too long, so then I go up into the crop tool, and then I can just move that over here, click done, and then boom, now that takes the place of the two images that were there before. So that is Kittl Co Pilot kind of on a very, very basic level. You can see here you can have the Copilot open with nothing selected, but it can also help you with things at the entire object or artboard level. So if I select this artboard right here, now you have a lot of different options. So with the Kittl Co Pilot open, I can change the text, I can generate an image, I can change my color palette. Or we can ask it to do other things like adding textures, backgrounds, changing the colors, generating more text, anything like that. So let's start with something really easy like generating a color palette. And so what it's going to do is going to go ahead and suggest me popular color palettes that I can utilize in this template. So for example, I actually really liked that green. Wow, that looks really cool. So let's go ahead and go with deep wood. So now I've clicked deep wood and you can see all of my selection colors over here in the right have changed. So outside of that, maybe we also click on changing the text. So right now we can give it a tone for changing the text. So right now we have this turning your passion into action kind of text right here, which is a little bit more of an inspiring tone. Maybe we want to do something that is a little bit more fun. So we select the fun category and we want to describe the new text in simple words. Text about how surfing is fun. And then we're going to do bulk replace text, meaning it's going to pick up on all of the text here that is in the template. But what I'm going to do before clicking on this is I'm going to duplicate this artboard because I want to show you the difference to make sure you know that there was a change here. So right now we have the turn your passion into action. Over here we have this artboard selected, and what we're going to do is change the text to be about how surfing is fun, and maybe instead of fun, let's do exciting, okay? Or let's get rid of text about. So we're going to do surfing is really exciting, and we're going to click on fun and then bulk replace the text. All right, and so now you can see it's changed all of my little text box. So down here at the bottom it says take that first step. Now it says make it make it big splash. Some of this is going to need a little bit of editing on your end, but instead of turn your passion into action, it says ride the waves with joy. The wavist ride is changing. Don't let doubt stop you from catching what makes your heart jump high. So this is a really great place to start if you're having issue trying to figure out what kind of text you should be putting in your designs, especially for those of you who do POD and you're trying to find some filler text to put in your niche or whatever. You can also change headlines within your templates. You can also just generate headlines that will just populate in on their own. So for example, I have this same thing here and it's going to generate catch waves, feel alive, surfs to light, ride the tide, surfs up. Yeah, so maybe we click this one and it, boom, it just populates in, and then we could grab all of this, copy it, and then we could go here and we could replace it with that type right there, and then we can go over here and do all caps, and then we can do a little bit of editing and tweaking to make sure that it fits. But you get the point of how Copilot can help you in the midst of all of these different things, including really cool and different unique things like trying to find different elements or similar elements. We can also do things like changing the colors, opacity, aligning them, and more. So definitely check out the Kittl Co Pilot, especially when you're needing help with designing and you're feeling a little bit stuck. All right, our fifth secret feature in Kittl is the use or replace as background feature, which is a really, really neat feature that I don't think a lot of you know about. So let's say we have a really cool design right here for a flower company, and instead of having a basic color image of your logo, maybe you want to have a kind of more trendy looking social post. And to do that, maybe you want some flowers in the background. So maybe we go over to images and we type in something, just basic for now, like flowers. And then we scroll down and we find something that we want. That would maybe look cool. This looks pretty cool. That looks very elegant. So let's go ahead and grab this. And so now what we have right now is an image. Okay, no surprise there. We've got an image right here. And I feel like what a lot of people would do normally is line this up by dragging it over here. And then what we're going to do is grab this corner and go all the way up here. And then we're going to move it around and try to do all this, that, and the other. And then we got to right click and we got to go to, go to back and then all this stuff right there. Okay, so let's just put it back to where we had it. Now let's just say we have this image on this artboard. Well, what we can either do is go up into the 3 points right here, or we can right click, and then we can use this tool right here called use as background, and then boom, it populates it into the exact middle, so I don't have to do any scaling, I don't have to do any changing. It just puts it right there in the middle of the screen. And then what we can do with our design is we can grab all of our design right here. Maybe we make this white so that it is a lot easier to see. And then we grab our background, which is now the image. You can see over here, I've selected the text here, and so now our background image is here. And then we can either do things like lower the opacity, or we can actually create an adjustment layer. And then so that we see more of that white text, we can actually just bring the brightness down. Maybe we can even bring the contrast down a little bit. We could even bring the saturation down or bring it up, depending on what kind of vibe you're going for. Maybe we add a little bit of noise to make it even more grainy and kind of old school looking. And then we can even play with the hue, right, to see if we get it to a point where the text is even easier to read. And just like that, it was really easy for us to manipulate with that use as background feature. Now, you could say, well, I also just want kind of a catalog of backgrounds. Well, we could also select that and then go down here into the textures panel and go over here into our backgrounds panel, which we have a ton of categorized backgrounds for you to use at any given time. We have really cool ones like watercolor. And because I have this artboard selected, I can find any of these and simply click to replace it. Just like that. All I did was click and it replaces it, and it perfectly puts it where it needs to go, and then everything reverts back to normal. So now it still has all of its original adjustments, and then I would still need to do things like add noise or change the hue or things like that. I actually kind of like this one a little bit more than the one that I picked out before, but you can see that this is a super powerful option for you, especially if you're trying to kind of elevate your designs, your logos, whatever, for social posts, for websites, whatever. That using image as background feature will put it exactly where it needs needs to go so that you don't have to do all this pulling and moving around and shaping and all this stuff. All right, our next hidden feature in Kittl is how to change your unit settings in Kittl. Now, what I mean by that is sometimes you may get a little frustrated because you don't exactly know the size that your image or your object, your presentation, your poster, whatever is, if it's in pixels, okay? You do know what the pixels are, obviously. However, you may not know what it is in inches. Therefore, it may not be helpful to you because you're not entirely sure what the actual ratio of that, unless you went online and you did some sort of conversion to say this amount of pixels is this amount of inches. Well, to easily change this, you can go up here into the main menu over here in the hamburger area, and then you can scroll down to where it says units. And now you might notice that it says pixels, inches, and millimeters. And if I change it to inches, then over here on the right, we now know that this design we're working with is 16 by 20. And so I have gotten a lot of comments on how to figure this out. And so I hope that this changes and helps a lot of your design methodology in that you need to be in inches or you need to be in pixels, and that way you don't have to keep going back and forth between Google and Kittl. And so now if I go to download this, I know that it's 16 by 20, and I know that I can go up or down my resolution. I can be optimizing, I can remove my background, whatever I need to do at 16 by 20. I can also change all of my different file types. If I never needed to go back to pixels, I could go back to units, and then I can go to pixels, and then now it is back in pixels just like that. All right, our next secret feature that you may not know about in Kittl is AI custom reference feature, meaning you can upload or select any element or image in Kittl to use as a reference in our AI, meaning that it uses it as a preset. Basically, customize, make your own preset. Anything you can come up with, even if you generate something, you generate an AI image and then you want to upload that as a reference to keep using it as a preset, you can do that. So maybe here we have this amazing template. Find your strong whatever. Every workout is a step closer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So maybe we don't want this tiger. Okay, it's really dope, and I think it's a really cool kind of rugged way. Maybe I don't want to go over here and start searching the gauntlet of elements and illustrations that we have, of which we have very, very many, and I'm sure we could find one to fit this. What I could do is utilize an earlier feature, which is the Kittl Co Pilot, and I could try to find other elements. Now, what it is going to do is show me similar tigers or photos of tigers, one of the two, but maybe what we're trying to do is generate an image that's very, very similar to this. And so what we can do is either right click, or we can go up into the three dots, and I can actually save this as an image generation style. And when I click this, it is going to open up our AI generator, and you can see right here it is going to be saved as a style. You can see I've already generated a couple others, like I generated a pixel dragon, and I wanted to upload that earlier today as its own generation. Now, I don't really care for making a set right now, so what I'm going to do is click this back arrow, and I'm just going to go to image generator. And so instead of a tiger head, what I am going to do is a bear, a head of a bear. And so we're going to do a strong, rugged looking bear head. And I know I have rugged in there as a descriptive word, but I'm just trying to help that prompt, that preset style be more affirmative of the actual style that I want. So we have a strong, rugged looking bear head. Let's see what it comes up with when we generate this image. All right, and so it did give us a pretty cool looking rugged bear. It's not per se the exact same style, but it's also not giving us a vector element to work with. You can see here that this has multiple different pieces to it, right? So I can change this depending on what it is. And this was actually just set to the same background color so that you have this kind of silhouetted area. So what we can do actually is, because we're working with an image, we can utilize some of our other features. Now, these are bonus to the list. They're not secret. They're always over here on the right. But let's go ahead and remove the background from our very clean cut image. And you can already see it kind of starts to look a little bit better. So we're gonna use our vectorizer next, and to make sure I retain all of the color in here, I'm gonna put at least 4 colors on, just to make sure that I give it the most amount of, stuff to work with. And that should generate all of our, yep, it generated all of our colors. So now you can see that this black is now its own color like this. And so what I'm gonna do is, instead of this tiger, maybe we're making multiple shirts and we're part of a gym and we wanna have multiple, we want to have multiple mascots, if you will. So instead of this tiger, we can put this bear in that fits very, very well based on the shape and overall format. And so instead of that blue, we're gonna make it that dark area right there. And instead of this white, we are also gonna make that this, well, actually, let's keep that as white. Let's actually change this one. Ooh, that's actually kind of cool looking. Let's change this to that vibrant orange there. And then let's actually change the white to that orange as well. Okay, and now we're starting to look like a much more similar image. Maybe a little bit more vectory than the other one, but that's okay. I think it's still pretty cool. You can generate images that look very, very similar. And we can also utilize the image generation set function. I'm going to go ahead and click vector art right here. And then maybe we can type in a variety of things like a lion. We can type in, what else is pretty ferocious? We can do a panther, a leopard, which I spelled incorrectly, obviously, a monkey. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see what it gives us if we just populate the rest. A cheetah, a gorilla, very cool. And then I forgot to put in head for all of these, so that's what I'm gonna do. Go back to this one. And then we can generate an entire set and we can see what it gives us. Oh, I like the lion a lot, actually. I like that one too. Wow. Oh, wow. These are super cool. Dang. Wow. And here's what's really cool about this is that we can keep iterating these. So instead of the tiger, maybe we want to use the lion head. So we can grab this lion head and then we can remove the background from this. And then we can move this guy out of the way and move this one in like that. And then we can continue to go through the process of vectorizing and changing the colors to make sure that they match. And then we can go along and utilize all of these in the same kind of way, continuing to remove the background and parsing out our shirts however we want. All right, another hidden secret feature in Kittl is what I like to call the auto template resize feature. And so it may be a little bit hidden and uncommon to you, but we actually have this really, really neat feature where you can see the dimensions down here on the bottom. And to just scale the entire template, meaning the canvas and the design itself, you can just grab the bottom corner and drag it down and you can see the pixels change, or you can drag it up and make it really small or really big. And so what this will do is retain the exact overall ratio of your design and just make it a lot bigger or a lot smaller. You can also do that by using the right side panel. So for example, if I want this to be even larger, I want it to be 2000, I can hit it to 2000 and it will just adjust one side. But if I want it to adjust everything, then I will need to lock these together. So you see here it says aspect ratio unlocked. So right now I just adjusted the width because they are not locked, but I can go and I can do Command Z. So I can hit this lock right here, and now if I hit 2000 in here and then hit enter, then now it will change it to width being 2000 and the height being 2500. And that is a super easy and fast way to make your designs really big or really small and scale the template up with it, especially if you're maybe populating in a sticker and it's not the same exact size of your t-shirt, but you want to use that sticker as a t-shirt. Well, now you can just grab it. You can grab that anchor point and just drag it way up or drag it down and adjust templates at your will to be the same or similar size really quickly. All right, the next hidden feature in Kittl is the presentation mode. Now, it doesn't look like the video I did showing the presentation mode got as much hype or views as I would have hoped that it did. So definitely go back and check out that video where I demo presentation mode in all of its glory, but I am going to show it to you here. And so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these first two that we don't need. So now that we have just our presentation. So now you've worked really, really hard on this, and you're thinking that your only option in sharing this beautiful presentation is that you have to download all of the artboards and then you have to put it in somewhere else and then you have to present it. Well, what we can actually do is select all of these artboards, or by default, if you have just the presentation that you've been working on. I've already been working in this document a lot, but let's say you started it and you had just a presentation going. Well, you can go up into the share icon up here, and then you can see this little new button that says view presentation. And so when I click that, what it is going to do is it's going to show all of my designs as a presentation, and you can now look at these. Yeah, you can go through and look at all of these to show your client. You can present straight from Kittl. You don't have to take anything out and put it in a different kind of software. And what's really cool is that you have different options here. You can comment, so you can enter comment mode and place comments. Like, for example, let's see, maybe instead of meet new team, this is change to meet new faces. And then if I hit go, now that becomes a comment over here that can now be replied to. So if somebody opens this and someone else sees it, they can reply to it. Now within the comment mode, I can have other people looking at this. So instead of just me commenting on my own presentation, which is certainly helpful, I can share this presentation with other people and even change the settings. So I can have it only to invited members, or anybody I share the link with can look at this and comment on it. So if I click this copy link, then anybody with it has the ability to comment on it and look in live time. So I could be sharing this with a client of mine and have them comment in live time, and I see it and respond back and forth to them. Again, I demo all of this in the video that you should check out. I already linked in the cards for you. Demoing the presentation mode. Now I can also go up here and adjust my slides. So I know that, for example, because I'm working back and forth and changing around different slides, I know that these may not be in the exact order. So for example, I want the Get in Touch slide to be here at the end, and I want project 1 to be at the very beginning. I can change and go through and move any of these slides. I can also use the 3 buttons right here to move to next, first, last, whatever. I can also remove slides from this deck if I want to. And then what's really nice is that everything is kind of constantly updated. So I can always go back to the editor and I can continue to make adjustments to this. And when I publish it or go into presentation mode the next time, clients, colleagues, whoever are going to see this presentation and they'll be able to see that everything was fixed. Maybe it's the color, maybe it's the titles, maybe it's the imagery, whatever it is. So that is the presentation mode. All right, and our last secret Kittl feature that, again, is not really a secret, but it may be a little bit difficult to find, is the multi-artboard download as single PDF. In other words, single PDF download. We've had a lot of people asking, how do I download my entire project as one single PDF? Not multiple images, not multiple projects, not multiple PNGs, not multiple PDFs, one PDF. What you can do is go up here into the download settings. So here is the same one I was just showing you. It's a big presentation right here. I can go to download, and currently right now it says all artboards. Now the file type is on PNG. If I click download on all artboards, it is going to put all of those PNGs in a zip file. You're going to unzip that zip file and you'll see all your PNGs. That's not what we want. We want to go to PDF. Now, if I leave it as it is right now and hit download, it is going to zip file all of these artboards as their own PDF. What we want to do is click combine artboards into one file. And so when we do that, we're going to now hit download, and it's going to take just a few seconds to make sure it puts all of these artboards in one single PDF for us to use seamlessly to share with clients, colleagues, people, whoever we want. And now you can see here it says new project because I didn't label my project correctly. And so now we have everything in one PDF. So you can see here, there was the slide 1, slide 2 is the table of contents, slide 3. And I'm using PDF within the browser, but it also provided me with a PDF down here in my download setting where it says right here, new project right there. All right, so there you have it. That was 10 secret features or semi-secret or semi-hidden in Kittl, and I would love to know which one is your favorite. Which one are you most hype about? Let me know in the comments. What features do you want to see? I'm also open to hearing those comments. We got a lot of things coming, a lot of amazing, super fun, super professional, different features coming, from text editing to other things like the rounded corners feature that I showed you at the beginning of this. A lot of really cool, exciting updates to come between now and the new year, so definitely be ready for those. But hey, if you're missing something, if something is stopping or inhibiting your creative process, drop the comment down below so that we can work on it. We love seeing those. We love making Kittl better for you. Again, let me know which one of these was your favorite. If you are just finding Kittl and you made it to the end of this video, wow, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. Check out Kittl. If you haven't already, use the link down below, sign up for free, get in there, mess around, use the different features, and see what you think of Kittl. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.